for joining me today. My name is Rebecca. We're going to be moving through a quick 20-minute flow that will focus on some spinal articulation, some movement through the hips and muscles on the backside of the body. This is a great flow for anyone who maybe works at a desk or does a lot of stationary work through the day, doesn't get too much movement in. No props are necessary, but you're always welcome to grab anything that you like to use in your practice. I have blocks here in case I want to go for those. I like having blocks handy always. So grab what you'd like. If you need a little extra cushion for your knees, grab a blanket, fold that up, set that there. Whatever's going to support you in your practice today. We're going to get started in child's pose. Child's pose can have some pretty intense sensation in your hips if you're a little bit tight or been sitting quite a bit. So you can take this as wide or as narrow as you'd like. I prefer a wider stance, but it will lessen the sensation through your hips if you keep your legs a little more narrow. So choose what works best for you. I'm going to widen my legs here. Bring my glutes to meet my heels and slowly lower down, reaching forward towards the front of my mat, forehead to the mat, and settle in here. Maybe take some movement through the hips, kind of settle into your mat. Become present in this space, reaching forward, adjusting as you need to find some comfort and stretch in this pose. Breathing here. Maybe noticing the way your hips feel here in this pose. The stretch through your side body, the tops of your shoulders. Maybe feeling the ease of resting on your mat here. Continuing with your breath. Deep inhale through the nose. And exhale through the nose. Few more rounds of breath here. Inhale. And exhale. If you'd like a little more sensation through the arms, you're welcome to tent your fingertips here. I feel this a bit more through the tops of my shoulders and a little bit through my side body. Noticing where you feel the stretch, breathing through the tight places. Maybe you'd like to stretch out your triceps. Go ahead and bend your elbows, bring your palms to touch, and bring your thumbs to meet either the back of your head, back of your neck, in between your shoulder blades. Whatever your stretch point is, find that. A few rounds of breath there. Continuing with those deep breaths. If you took that tricep stretch, go ahead and stretch your arms back out long. Raise yourself up into tabletop. We're going to come in for a puppy pose. So bring your knees about hip width distance apart, stacked under your hips, and bring your palms forward and slowly lower down to your elbows. Bring your forehead down to the mat. Begin to drop your chest towards the mat, making sure your hips stay stacked over your knees.
feel that opening through the chest. Feel the sensations here. You can lessen the sensation if it's too much by bringing your arms up just a little bit closer, but you want to keep dropping your chest towards the mat. That's the goal here. If you'd like a little more sensation, you can bring your chin to touch the mat. It's a little bit much for me, but that's an option. Breathing here. Feeling your chest melting towards the mat. Maybe feeling your belly get a little bit closer to your thighs. Slowly bring yourself forward. We're going to slither onto our belly here. Step your hands one on top of the other and forehead on top of your hands. You rock your hips back and forth a little bit and bend your knees. We're going to take just a couple windshield wipers slowly here. Get a little movement through the lower back, through the sacrum. Bringing some awareness there. Bringing your feet back down to the mat. We're going to set up for some cobra. So set your forehead down on the mat. Bring your hands beside your chest. Engage your glutes. Bring your feet backs of the feet to the mat and press down. Slowly begin to raise up, light touch through your hands. Breathing here, gazes at the top of the mat. Exhale, lower back down. On an inhale, we're going to raise up again. Baby cobra. Bring those shoulders down out of the ears. Maybe lifting the hands if that feels good to bring a little more awareness to the muscles on the back side of the body. Exhale, lower back down. Couple more, keeping those glutes engaged, raising on an inhale. Hands off the mat if that feels good. Pressing your feet into the mat. Exhale, lower back down. One last round, inhale, raising, maybe raising a little higher if that feels good. Eyes at the top of the mat, keeping those glutes engaged, protecting your lower back, and lower back down. We're going to take a seal pose now. So bring your palms forward and slowly raise your chest off the mat. Bring your shoulders down out of your ears. Engaging your glutes. You can have your legs wide here. You can bring them together, whatever feels good. We're just deepening that stretch through our spine here. Breathing deeply. Keeping your glutes engaged, only coming up as high as feels good. If it feels unsafe in your back, back down. Exhale, lower back down to your belly. Maybe take a couple more windshield wipers, bend your knees, back and forth. Release that, hold. Legs back down, and we will come into tabletop. We're gonna head for our first downward dog here. Bring your hands a little bit further forward on your mat. Tuck your toes, lift your hips towards the ceiling, and begin to move here a little bit in our down dog. You wanna be gripping the mat with your fingertips. Popping the eyes of your elbows towards the front of the room. And really lift lifting those hips high. Distributing the weight between the front and the back. Take whatever movement feels good here. Pedal it out, maybe some knee bends. Pushing your belly towards your thighs. On an inhale, we're going to raise our right leg high, step it through between our hands, and we're going to set up for crescent lunge. So back heel stays off the mat. You can widen your stance a little bit if you need it for balance. And bend that back knee, raise your arms up, shoulders down out of your ears, 90-degree or close, whatever feels good. Bend in your front leg and breathe here. If you'd like a little extra stretch through your shoulders, you can take prayer hands behind your back. I like this in this crescent lunge. I feel pretty stable in my legs, so bringing my arms behind feels like a really great opportunity to stretch my shoulders here. If that's too much, you could just grab your elbows, or classic crescent lunge, arms up overhead, shoulders relaxed. On an exhale, we're going to widen out to warrior two. Back foot comes perpendicular to the front, 90-degree angle in that front knee, shoulders relax down out of the ears, palms face down, gazes over the right hand. On an inhale, reverse warrior. Bring your left arm down to meet your left thigh. Right arm goes up. Exhale, extended side angle. You have a couple options here. You can hover your right arm inside your right leg here. You can bring your right elbow to your right knee. If that feels better, you're welcome to grab one of the blocks that you've got here. Set that up on whatever level feels good. Make sure if you're using a block that you're pushing into it and not sinking into it. Same goes for the elbow on the leg. Really push into that and create some space here in this right side body. On an exhale, reverse warrior. Maybe you'd like to take a little bind, bring that left arm behind, right arm twists over. And exhale, extended side angle of your choice. Maybe you'd like to take a little bind here. Bring your left arm behind, back of the hand rests on the right thigh, or right glute rather. Bring your right hand behind to meet, or get as close as you can. You can stay here in this bind, or you can come in for bird of paradise. Step that left leg forward to meet the right, and slowly stand. If it's in your practice to straighten that leg, go for it. Breathing here, opening through the chest, and step back the way you came in. Warrior 2 feet, extended side angle, warrior 2. Return to crescent lunge. Cartwheel the arms forward, back to down dog. You can do a 3-legged down dog. You can just meet me in a regular, whatever you'd like. We're going to repeat that sequence on the left side. Left leg raises here, steps through the hands, crescent lunge. Again, right heel stays lifted. Keep a bend in that right knee. Raise yourself up, 90-degree angle or close to it in the front left leg. Bring your shoulders down out of your ears, arms frame your face, and take some breaths here. Feel free to widen your stance if you need, as wide as you need to maintain balance. Maybe you liked this little extra chest stretch here. You can bring your arms behind in prayer.
or grab elbows, or maintaining the original crescent lunge. On an exhale, open out to warrior two. Right leg comes perpendicular to the front left leg. Tuck the tail, pull the core in tight. Shoulders relax out of the ears. Make sure your left knee is pulled so that you can see your left big toes. Gaze over your left fingers. On an inhale, reverse warrior. Drop your right hand down behind you, left arm raises. Exhale, extended side angle, whichever version you like. Inhale, reverse your warrior, maybe come in for a little bit of a bind, bringing that right arm behind you, left arm over your head, looking up at the sky. And exhale, extended side angle. Maybe you want to try that bind here on this side. We're going to drop our right arm behind. Back of your hand meets your left glute, somewhere around there. Left arm reaches back. Maybe you grab fingers. Keep opening through your chest here. If you'd like to try the bird of paradise on this side, you're going to step that right leg forward to meet the left. And slowly stand, noticing the differences on each side. Maybe the balance challenges or different sensations, opening the chest here. Slowly lower back down, come out the way you came, step back to your warrior 2 feet, extended side angle, warrior 2, back to crescent lunge. Maintain your balance here. And cartwheel, your hands down. Shoot your leg back to a 3-legged down dog if you'd like. Pedal it out. We're gonna move into some pigeon pose now. Really give these hips a good stretch. If pigeon is not in your practice, you can take reclined figure 4. Otherwise, if you're taking pigeon, bring your right leg high here. Bring your right knee forward to meet your right wrist. And settle in. Take a peek over your left shoulder. Make sure your left leg is straight and not off to the side. Doesn't really matter where your shin bone is. If it doesn't meet up with the front of the mat, that's totally fine. We have a few options here in pigeon. We can stay elevated, which is going to stretch a bit through this left hip flexor, as well as the right hip. Or we can lower down and fold a bit, which takes a little bit of the sensation out of that back leg and centers it mostly on the front right leg, on the outside and inside of the hip. I like to have a little bit of movement here. Pigeon is a pretty intense stretch, so I like to ease into it with a little bit of movement before I go still. Make sure you're breathing here. If something feels like too much, back out slowly. If the fold is too much, come back upright. Always an option to take reclined figure 4 if pigeon isn't quite it for you today. Slowly raise. We're going to come back to down dog, so tuck that left toe and raise your right leg high. Bring it down to meet the left. Bring your left leg high. Pigeon on the left side now, so knee to wrist here. And settle in. Same thing, you want to check over your right shoulder, make sure that right leg is extended out long. You don't want it jutting off to the side. Again, I like to take a little bit of movement here, kind of ease in. Pigeon is a big stretch. You are welcome to come up higher, really feel the stretch through this right hip flexor, the hip flexor on the extended leg. Or you can fold forward a bit, bringing more sensation into the left leg. Again, placement of the shin isn't really important here. Just let your leg lay where it feels comfortable. And breathe. Once you feel like you've had kind of an even stretch on each side, we're going to raise back up and join me back in down dog. So tuck your right toes under, bring your left leg high, and down dog. Find whatever movement here you'd like. It's going to be our last pose before we come into our rest. Take a few petals. Noticing the differences in both sides. Maybe the synergy between both sides. And lower down to your knees. I'm going to offer child's pose as our Shavasana pose today. But if child's pose isn't super restful for you, then take something else. You can take recline bound angle if you'd like. You can take constructive rest, simple corpse pose. Do whatever you'd like. I'm going to do child's pose. So I'm going to bring my legs out wide again and slowly lower down. Bring your forehead to touch the mat. Close your eyes. Begin to go inward here. I'm going to rest in child's pose for the remainder of the class. Slowly begin to move your fingers, maybe your toes, bringing small, gentle movements, returning to the space. Maybe rock your forehead left and right Keeping your eyes closed as you feel ready. Slowly raise up to your knees and come to join me in an easy seat. Thank you for joining me for your practice today. Thank you for trusting me with your practice. I hope you found some ease and some comfort through today's flow, and I hope you take that with you after off of your mat.